Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of PSI Interview. Today, Galleon interviews the Giga Slayer himself, the head honcho, and the one who brought us all together, Negatron. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this journey through the beginnings of PSI Hope.
Brought to you by Marlboro, the tentacled monster, not the cigarette.
Watch out for bad breath.
Oh god,
Bleh, it's just smoke.
those guys suck.
Thank you for joining me today, man. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for coming around.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I have had this in the back of my head since I started working, and people's lives got in and out of chaos and back in it again.
Oh yeah,
But
Not
I'm
in
glad
having-
I'm glad we're finally able to sit down.
Yeah, this year's been a doozy.
Yeah.
as they say.
Yeah.
It's been a doozy of a year.
Well, I mean, honestly, I guess we should just dive right on in. First up, what's your full government name?
My full government name is Matthias Jacobson Jared Jehoshaphat IV 13th. No, it's Matthew James Gillespie. I'm the proprietor of Ghostwood Custom on Etsy.
There you go. There you go. See, my favorite part about that question is I have a small little pause and then I say, I'm kidding, and continue on. But the fact that you're the first one to
I was
give the
about to
full
say.
government.
Yeah, you're the first one to answer.
Oh yeah, I'm already fully doxxed on old internet, so that
Yeah,
that
there you
affords
go.
me a certain amount of inverse peace of mind. I don't know. Like,
For sure.
I can't get more doxxed. So
Right. Now this next question may change that. What's your social security number? I'm kidding.
but it
Kidding.
starts with an X. No.
So honestly, with you answering, Matthew, what would you prefer to be called by everybody in Sci-Hope? And
I mean,
anybody
I've
that
become
watches?
quite fond of my nom de internet.
Mhm.
So that Negatron is fine with me, or Tron. And
Gotcha.
just for the sake of maintaining brand cohesiveness.
Oh hell yeah! Always think about the brand, which is a high-minded compliment, honestly. Because I know a lot of people that get into streaming, like branding's kind of like on a back burner until they realize, oh, I need that for like ad revenue. But for people to have brand forward thinking, starting out it's a very good quality to have.
Well, yeah, and I have I guess like a whole psychology behind that. Like the internet is where we can name ourselves and
Absolutely.
kind of bend reality to our will to some degree. And so I like that clear delineation between my dealings on the internet and like in person with people in my personal lives and stuff. One's an escape for me.
Right.
So out here I'm Negatron00, your casual internet acquaintance.
There you go. And so where did the name come from? Because I had always wondered. I don't think I've ever asked you, but like where did like the origin of Negatron as like your internet persona come from?
I mean, I started using it as like an internet name probably in the last year or so, probably of my enlistment while I was in the Coast Guard. I was
Okay.
in I was in an office where people say affirmative and negative to each other every so often, and
Right.
I did my job well enough in the office to where I could afford to have a little bit of character for myself, and so I
Sure.
started saying Negatron instead of negative. And I was that's kind of cool. It sounds like Megatron, and that sounds like a cool screen name, and so I leaned into it.
Gotcha.
uh, and uh, and it kind of it's one of those things that's like I'm not actually very negative. I try to project my most positive self
Yeah.
through this
I'd argue
persona.
one of the most positive people I've met.
Oh, well, thanks.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, since in my personal life, my thinking can lend itself to catastrophizing real easy.
Hmm.
So it's nice to kind of be my best self through this.
Absolutely. So then, what's with the double aught? Now, is it double aught, 00, 00, 00? Like, what's going on there?
I suppose it's whatever you like.
Okay.
I usually say double O, or I know I'm not consistent in it. Like
For sure. Okay.
uh, you know.
So no need for
Yeah,
consistency there.
Negatron was taken, and one of my favorite ways to modify a screen name to be something that I can use still is to just slap zeros on the back of it.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, that's fair.
so that's how that happened.
Okay, so double aught, what made you decide to start streaming? I mean,
I
everybody has their event that fuels them to pursue streaming. So, like, where does that drive come from? Is it boredom? Is it a similar story to mine, where he that shall not be named hit, and all of us got stuck inside forever? Like what was it?
well, I've always had a keen interest in video games growing up and
Hmm.
everything, and
Hard sell.
around 2008 2009, in there I became aware of the let's play phenomenon that had started really exploding on YouTube, and in fact permanently warping what that website would become.
Yeah.
uh, and I liked the idea of well, because I come from really enjoying Mystery Science Theater 3000,
Hmm.
the TV show where your guys watch a cheesy movie and they make fun of it, and fun ensues, right?
Now
And
doing pop culture with riff tracks.
it,
I think they're still going with that too.
yeah, Rift Tracks is still going. In fact, I'm a proud donor to the to the Kickstarters that brought back MST3K both times. So,
That's
Nice.
uh,
awesome.
you
Yeah,
know,
no, for those of you guys who know Mystery Science Theater and want more of it, they do popular movies with riff tracks in a podcast style, and
yeah,
it is incredible.
I
There's
got
also
this
a
like
Rift Tracks game.
I'm showing off this mug
Really?
to the camera that I got from it. It's kind of a mug, but there's no handle. It's just the MST3K moon, with big raised letters, says Mystery Science Theater 3000.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Uh,
Now, just one pivot. Were you like, did you enjoy Patton Oswalt being a part of
I did
the new
actually.
reimagining?
I quite liked. I'm on the side of people who actually enjoyed the reboot.
Gotcha.
And I liked Patton Oswalt as the son of TV's Frank,
Hmm.
quite a bit actually.
Because
But
he,
yeah,
from what I understand, not having seen it myself, because I gave it a shot. I probably watched about 20 minutes of one of them, and I was just like, I guess I had to be there.
it,
I've always
it
liked it for its existence, but I never really like fed into it, if that makes
mm,
sense.
yeah, I mean, I definitely spend more time watching the quote unquote classic series, of the show.
Hmm.
But yeah, my heart's still in it.
Sure,
and,
absolutely.
and so yeah, that was like a whole thing. I was like, oh, let's play Mystery Science Theater, but for video games, awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
and I was like, I want to do that, and I even went so far as kind of figuring out how could I capture like gameplay footage, and how can I record audio, how do I edit this stuff together, and and kind of embarked on that journey. And once I was kind of late to the party once I started getting my equipment together and know-how together to do something, and it wasn't until 2015 when I produced my first Let's Play series on YouTube,
hmm.
for a game called Lifeless Planet by developer David Board. Super rad game, highly recommended.
Oh, what was that game again?
Lifeless Planet.
Lifeless Planet. Don't
Mm-hmm.
think I've ever heard of it.
No, it's a really cool, like it's got platforming elements and stuff, but it's really deep into like telling a mystery kind of thing.
Oh, is that the one with the crazy backpack that like you? No, that's a different one, isn't it?
Yeah, no. The premise of this game is a United States astronaut flies to a planet several light years away using this experimental hyperdrive or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Crash lands on the surface of the planet and kind of wanders around marooned. What am I going to do? And stumbles upon the ruins of a Soviet era settlement.
Oh.
And yeah, and then the mystery deepens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I just looked at the screenshots for it right now just to like see if it would like jog something in my memory. I immediately went to that game that was like kind of like QWOP, only better graphics, and it had the like stupidly large backpack that would like throw you off balance and make it impossible to run.
Oh,
And
I think I'm vaguely aware of what game you mean, but yeah, yeah,
I
you're
can
just a
only
guy in a
paint as
spacesuit in this one. Yeah.
I can only paint such a picture before I start beating a dead horse. Um,
But yeah, like I was nervous back then.
yeah.
I did this. I recorded all my gameplay footage.
Hmm.
I put it all together in Premiere. I didn't record audio. Like I was shy of my voice, so
Sure.
I just did subtitles. And where
Okay.
I kind of did like what might be the in-game characters, sort of. Like what my internal narration of what the character was experiencing as I was going through the game, as well
Really?
as like explanation or analysis of the game mechanics and other stuff and there was kind of a presentation with that.
Hmm.
Then I did like nothing for for a good long while, and it got to the point where I was playing video games, and I was like, man, I still really want to record this stuff, but it's a lot of effort to to produce the videos and everything.
Sure.
And then I learned more about Twitch and how several of the creators whose like YouTube stuff, from the heyday of Let's Play, I became familiar with, such as like Slow Beef, uh,
Hmm.
Chip and Ironicus, just to throw some names out.
Yeah.
They started streaming on Twitch. And I'd watch their stuff and I'm like, hey, they're being funny and everything and playing the goofy games, and it's it's like old times or whatever.
Right.
So I looked into it and I was like, oh, well, I got all this kind of equipment from when I was going to try doing Let's Play. I could put all that stuff back to work and essentially just click start streaming.
Yeah.
And so, when uh uh the pandemic started, I
Hmm.
found myself, I was looking forward to I just finished playing Death Stranding and had my mind blown, and I was like, man, there was all kinds of moments and like things during that are just lost to time now. I'll never
Yeah.
remember all those little micro things. And
Yeah.
I was looking forward to Final Fantasy VII coming out, and I was like, well,
Yes.
the remake, right? And I was like, all right, you
Uh-huh.
know what? Let's do this. And got set up, and my very first stream ever was a series of streams of a different game called Colat, which is like a walking simulator horror thing with
Yeah,
my
okay.
younger daughter. But that was only like 2 or 3 sessions, and then right after that went into Final Fantasy VII remake. And
And that's about where I found you too. And
now you
by
found me
I
on my
around that
second run,
area.
actually.
Oh, it was your second
Yeah,
run.
yeah.
Okay.
I streamed to the Void and my girlfriend
Gotcha.
for like a year
Okay, yeah.
it gained really any traction. But I mean that was fine for me
Yeah.
because I was going into it in the idea that, well, I'm kind of scrapbooking for myself.
Sure,
These are
absolutely.
my experiences playing the game. It'll be fun sometimes to go back and remember what it was like, instead of just
Experiencing a
looking up
game
a
for the first
YouTube
time.
video of the moment in question. I'm looking up my experience of the moment in question,
Right.
and that has a little bit more value to me,
Oh yeah.
personally.
I mean,
And
it creates the autobiographical feel that makes something kind of bond in your head in a different way than it would be if you're just kind of like watching it for nostalgia's sake.
yeah,
Like
like
personal
it's
experience is what makes the game that I play so impactful to me.
like I mean, in like to put it like another way, there was times that I'm like, man, that joke was funny. I'm never gonna remember that. Like,
Yeah, the lost genius of the things that you do in your garage with your best friend, where it's like, man, we should start a YouTube channel because we're laughing so hard right now.
yeah,
And
basically.
the moment you turn it on, that magic is lost. You should have had it going from the beginning. I get it.
But yeah, that's how I got started in this
That's
racket.
awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, mine's. I was looking for a job and convinced my family that I can make money, and I did. hilariously enough. But yeah, and then it kind of just snowballed out of control from there.
Oh yeah.
But no, that's actually super cool. I don't think I've ever heard. I don't think I've ever heard that origin. Like I've heard bits and pieces because you and I have. I mean, we've been doing this for like 2 years now. 3 years almost.
Yeah.
Almost 3 years. Jeez.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
PSI Hub
like
3, baby.
oh man, it's coming.
October 20th, 21st, and 22nd. There, that'll be in the supercut.
Hell yeah. No, I mean, like 3 years has gone by, and like I know I've heard like bits and pieces like through both Sci-Hopes, and just like normal shooting the shit. So it's really cool to hear like the full origin of it. So negative. As we all know, charity is just plain good for the soul. And there's a lot of obvious reasons to spend some time with our good old pal altruism, but I'm going to level with you. I don't care about the surface stuff. I want to know why doing these charity events is so damn important to you. Like, what do you get out of it? What are you taking home? Why was this an idea in your head in the first place? And why have you stuck with it?
Well, I mean, I'm definitely motivated, by the concept of being able to, swing whatever forces are at my disposal to do the most good with.
Absolutely.
I read The Art of War.
Okay.
And you
Let him cook. Let him cook.
and I mean it I only bring it up because for people who know, it's basically kind of a describing a manner of thinking,
Mhm.
and how to conceptualize
It's a
what
psychological
you
deep dive
got.
into war
Well, yeah, I mean, and more than
and
that,
using
just
the resources that you've got.
like I first read it, as part of learning how to start a new business, and like the whole deal of it is the bits and pieces of almost anything you want to do, of almost any end state you can envision,
Mhm.
are there. It's just a matter of like seeing it and putting it together in a way that ends up working. And like when we first conceived of, I was like, doing streaming, and I had just gone affiliate not too long before,
Mhm.
and I was like kind of thinking, well, what am I going to play and stuff going forward? And I'm like, well, I'll find an excuse to play Bloodborne, my favoriteest game ever, even though it wasn't very long before I went
Yeah.
affiliate that I had done a playthrough of it, because I did that right after FF7 Remake, I think.
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
but I was like, okay, I'm affiliate now. I guess that justifies going through some of the stuff I did pre-affiliate again. Now that like people actually have eyes on this sort of thing, and
Yeah. The void is
and
no longer void, but full.
and I was talking with a pal of ours, Cool Max,
Mhm.
uh, and he was streaming at the time, and I was just hanging out in his chat, and I was thinking, I'd seen people doing charity and stuff
Mhm.
on the platform, and I was like, well, that's kind of neat. Like, what's the mechanisms behind that? How's that working and everything? And I just shooting the shit in the chat was saying, you know what, like maybe in October when I play Bloodborne, I'll figure out how to do some kind of charity thing for it.
Right.
And right away he was like, wow, I like Bloodborne a lot, and we know people who do. Uh, what if we did like a bigger thing where we got a race organized and did that? And we're
Yeah.
like, all right, yeah, and we're off and running, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
and it completely exploded.
yeah, and it was just that little, okay, what if? And in my life, my role in whatever corner of society I'm integrated with at the time has usually been like figure out the details.
Yeah.
Like for instance, when I was part of opening up a tattoo shop in El Paso, Texas, before moving out to Las Vegas, and it was by virtue of the fact that I knew a bunch of friends who had gone into the industry who were all tattooers and piercers by the time I got out of the Coast Guard,
Right.
and a lot of them worked in the same shop together, and they all hated the boss. The boss sucked.
Yeah.
uh, so I was like, well, all right, I got me this here school money, from being in the military. How's about I go figure out how to run a business, and then we can just up and mutiny on this dude.
Right.
and son of a gun, it worked. I went to school, got my associates in business accounting, and figured out what the rules were for opening a business and doing all that
Right.
stuff, and made it happen. And I was like, well, I have that background going on, and especially because at the time, uh,
Supreme organizer.
when we were doing the when I was like thinking about it with Coolmex about a charity thing, I was also organizing another shop here in Las Vegas opening. So I was like in maximum, like or organization mode, I
Yeah.
guess. And
Yeah.
so I just turned my attention to it. I was like, okay, well, how do people raise money on Twitch?
Right.
Came across Tiltify. I was like, oh, well, that's pretty straightforward. As long as the group you're looking for is on Tiltify, you can just basically press a button and be ready to start accepting donations.
Yeah.
And just like it just became this thing that I felt motivated to do, even though it wasn't paying me nothing, anything like that. But just like, here's this possibility for more money than what I would make through the platform to go to people who actually like need it, who are in a state of
Right.
of need. Uh, when all I basically have to do is kind of wave my fingers around and make something spin around for a little while, and then
Right.
press go. Why not?
Yeah.
And
I mean, if you're
yes,
gonna
but
be sitting around wasting time, heavy quotes on wasting time, you might as well be doing it for a good cause.
yeah, I mean, there's the various like kind of models about getting it done, as far
Yeah.
as when you time stuff and all the rest. But
Right.
it feels good to be able to to swing that around. And what's been even better is the fact that, oh, hold on one second, I
Yeah.
got
No
a
problem.
cat knock.
Um. I mean, if I could just jump off that for a moment, my favorite part about it is just how willing people are to step up and continue that support. Um, to where while there is like central figureheads of what's going on, and like there are like mainstays, of course, um, I would never be worried about the lack of people willing to donate their time so that we can generate the donations that go to a great cause. Like we're not wanting for people.
Yeah,
You know?
it's like a total if you build it, they will come type
Yeah, absolutely,
situation.
absolutely. And there's
Like,
no worry in my mind that like um if it wasn't like kind of prodded at and like, hey, go do the thing, like there really isn't that much of that going around, at least not that I've seen. People are so ready and willing to just step up and donate their weekend to what is ultimately, small pickings. I mean, let's just be honest here. It's we're a small organization. We're getting bigger every year, but we're small.
um,
We are mighty, but we're small.
yeah,
And
it's just really awesome. Like, I'm always
we're not hurting for people. We're not hurting
super
for
grateful how willing everybody is
yeah,
to jump right in. So like it like that's one of the things that makes it feel so special, to me also, is just
yeah,
the fact that it's this thing that everybody's yeah, taken into heart and making their own, just as
hmm
much as I was at the ground level in germinating the idea or whatever. The It's just as much theirs as it is mine, in my mind.
right.
I
You
serve
guys
my
hear that?
role as central organizer, but
I mean, central leadership. I mean,
please.
no, let's call it what it is, man. Like, while yeah, this is a brainchild of multiple minds coming together for a common goal. The probably I'd argue one of the most important things is organization. If there is no organization, 9 times out of 10, a production of any kind of value is going to implode on itself. It just is. because there are people with agendas and there are people with different mindsets of how things should be ran. There needs to be some form of central leadership, and I think we lucked out.
Well,
I'm not here to gas you up. I'm just reading
I
the truth.
wear the mantle, as best I can, I guess.
Yeah. No, and you wear it well, man. Like I am sure I speak for a majority of the team when I say we'd be lost without you, and it wouldn't be half as successful if you weren't around.
Well, I need to hear from the rest of them that not.
Well, I confirm.
Thank you, Commander. But yeah, I
That's
mean,
all that
like,
matters. No, I'm just joking.
and super special thanks, to you, Commander, and to you, Galleon, for being so pivotal to things. Diving right in with the gusto that you were describing, and
Yeah.
and even if even if somebody doesn't have the same level of gusto as everybody else, they just need whatever it is that gets them through their bit.
Yeah,
Like when,
absolutely.
and I've noticed that, and this was especially true of Commander. Like if they want something to do, like by all means take the reins. Here you go. I don't have to
Yeah.
do that part no more. Like
Right.
uh
And I
that
mean, we could gush about Jupe and their can-do spirit all day long. And like, don't you make yourself sick with the amount of stuff that you do all the time?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
no,
think
But
I know
that's
you rack yourself out sometimes, so
I
like
do.
I'm aware.
this is a common feature of many of the more active
Yeah.
officers of the group, I guess we could
I
say.
I just
Right.
blame my extreme ADHD. I can't sit still long enough to have just one project on the go.
Look, hyperfocus is a wonderful blessing and a curse.
It is.
I have it myself. Only mine does not translate to multiple projects. It translates to one that I break myself over. And everything else ends up falling on the wayside. Sorry.
Yeah, I can't even. I really don't want to count the number of plates I got spinning in this crazy
Oh my god, yeah.
No,
performance.
for sure. And
All I know is I see one a wobbling, I run over that way, and
yeah, exactly.
Anytime I feel
Uh,
busy, I just look at you.
right.
I go, I could be
Uh,
busier. I'll enjoy what I got.
I mean, for those of you who aren't aware, and those of you that will be listening to this, I don't think you guys fully realize just how much Negatron actually does. This man runs an Etsy shop and does arts and crafts, streams daily, twice per day, if I
I was about
remember
to say
correctly.
twice daily,
most
often.
days, I've been finding myself having to cut that,
Full,
and but
he's full-time dad and
who
husband.
not husband.
Okay, partner.
Formerly, yeah, I got a super awesome girlfriend, SFVL. Her name shifts every so often. But
Yeah,
she's been, my primary
yeah,
Twitch viewer and supporter and mod since the very beginning.
right.
So if you're hearing this, I love you very much, babe.
Oh, that's so cute. I might explode.
Aw.
No, but like, I'm 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 dead serious when I say that this man is a machine, and it should not be taken lightly. The amount of dedication that he's got to everything.
Also being constantly available for everyone's questions.
Yeah,
If anyone
yeah.
asks him the half the questions I'm constantly asking him, then I can't
I
even
mean,
imagine how much, like, holy crap.
I haven't seen you in a while, but I'm pretty sure that dent on the side of your head from slamming your head against the wall with the amount of questions you get is starting to grow. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, I like Discord. Like, I only came into Discord as part of streaming because I was like, oh, I see streamers run a Discord sometimes. I guess I'll do that. And, fired one up, and it kind of sat and did nothing for a while. And it wasn't until I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm organizing this charity thing, and, the more the merrier. Here's a place for people to gather. And, like, yeah, sure enough, we've gathered numerous bright and super cool people
Yeah.
who've joined in on the cause, or just hang out and be cool. And I
So
like the ability to, like, I'll see somebody asks just a thing, and it's my nature to, I tend to have the answer for the thing, so I can
Sure.
crack it out pretty fast.
And just to clarify for those of you at home, he meant the application, not the state of being.
Oh, well, I mean, I am a fan of chaos also.
Same here. That's just not what he was stating.
Joyous
Just let's be
chaos.
honest.
Yeah. No, the social media platform, for all of its faults, we got a nice tight ship in our
for
neck of the
sure.
woods.
For sure.
So.
And we also have some very talented mods that got their fingers on the pulse.
Thank you, Mirage. Like Mirage,
I know.
If Mirage didn't come around, Discord would not be this good.
And they have so much experience dealing with hyper chaotic Discord servers. The fact that we gave them like a handle on ours, I know that I speak from them specifically because they have told me this, that every other server that they have been over has been a walk in the park to some of the other ones that they have dealt with. So like,
yeah, I've heard from Mirage as well. Like, because I'm always super grateful. Like, thank you so much for fixing this thing or understanding this thing that I don't. And they're just like, oh no, this is super cheese. Like, don't even sweat it. Like,
you don't know.
Yours is the easy job. I'm like, well, cool.
I've gotten a little bit of the download from what they used to deal with, and most of our bonding happened over them lamenting about the sheer amount of garbage that they had to put up with day in and day out. So
I mean, I ain't gonna sugarcoat it too much either. Like, part of my rule set in being a part of a social community like that's what's developing around this whole thing, has a lot to do with, like some, I feel like my rules can be a little bit strict, like, this definitely isn't a place for XYZ. There's plenty of places for that. Please find those instead. Kind of deals, and I think it's been, to our benefit, especially
like keep the fire risk at a moderate.
Right, especially because, and I found this not only, to be kind of a self-enforcing rule is that, we represent charities here, don't act the fool.
Yeah.
And and that, that kind of I think produces the kind of vibe I'm looking for.
The way I see it is because, the hyper realism that I have of like exactly what we're doing here. We're not big enough to be like, I guess, like we're not big enough to be like scrutinized to a level of like some of the bigger charities that would reach out, and like, a lot of the prestige that comes with it. We're not big enough for that yet. But the fact remains, one day we could be. And the earlier you start on being, I'm not saying don't be yourself, but I'm definitely saying clean yourself up so that you are presentable for things like that earlier, so that it is a standard going forward, as opposed to, oh, well, we got to clean up our images because we had this person that did this and this person that did this.
I'm big into
you start that in the beginning.
Yeah,
and
I'm big
maintain
on
that standard throughout.
The cultivate or not cultivation, creation or wait, what's the damn word?
You're getting it.
I'm getting there. I'm almost there.
And I wish I could help you, but I'm struggling on it as well.
It sounds like cultivation might be the right word, but I need the rest of the sentence.
No, it's not. Oh, God. Curation. There we go.
Curation.
Yes.
Curation.
Yes. Words are hard.
It's true.
English is our first language.
Yeah, so that's trying to curate, the community as it goes. It is easier in the beginning, instead of having to reel people in. Like I do mod work in a community or two,
right?
And there's been more than one instance where the person in question's channel has been like, who boy, like
Yeah.
we need to tell people to chill out, and I'm afraid it's going to chase people away and everything.
Right.
And you know, like so I've seen how it goes. Fortunately, in their cases, it was highly successful.
Mhm.
You know, I was always like, you know, let me be bad cop. You know, you know,
Look,
you go
it's
in there
okay
and
if
tell
they
them the
hate the
rules.
mod.
If they don't like it, then they'll hear from me. You know,
Yeah,
and it's no big deal.
it's okay to hate the mod.
Uh, but
Well,
yeah,
for some
so
streamers, that's not even okay, which I understand that too. You know,
right,
stand
but
stand
yeah,
behind your people.
for sure. But yeah, so yeah, I think you know it's real nice what we got
Yeah,
going on, and I'm you know I
I
try
mean,
to be grateful
I'm
for it every day.
I'm genuinely honored to be a part of it. And
Oh, you honor me, man.
no,
Like you have any like, dude, I'm so fucking grateful for your expertise and participation in this early on. Ain't gonna lie, your enthusiasm and ideas early on was like, dude, all right, we can do this stuff. We could totally
yeah,
do this. I got this guy who's banging ideas at me the way I've been banging them out, so that we're gonna try to swing that weight around. And
yeah.
so, Galleon, you know,
Ideas have always been something that like I've talked about this before. My ideas are sometimes really good, but a majority of them are harebrained, but they're still good. Does that make sense?
I get you.
Like they come right off the top of the head, and there's not a lot of not fact checking. There's not a lot of a reality check in the ideas that I come up with. You know, it's just throwing darts at the wall for the most part, and I just happen to be kind of good at it, I
Well,
guess.
yeah, the dart that's the bullseye that you know really got the ball rolling, and what really boosted PSI Hope into something that like has always had the trappings of professionalism out of the gate was contacting the freaking a fundraiser representative, you know, to be on the stream with us for the event,
They have
and
an email. Why would they have an email if you can't email?
yeah, yeah,
Like
and like
that
you know,
was
and I was like,
that's all that thought really was. They have an email. Why don't we just throw an email at them and say, "Hey, can we have somebody from you come talk to us? I know that we don't matter, but
mhm.
can you? Like that would be really cool."
And it's
And
just those little bits of effort and
yeah,
like in when we were doing the D&D stream with Captain Sekatai
yeah.
and his crew, we
God, that was so much
you
fun.
know, like I made it a point, you know, especially as part of like, you know, wanting people to feel like PSI Hope is theirs as much as mine. You know, I
Yeah,
encourage. I was like, hey, Captain, you know, here's the process. You go ahead and email this person and see if they get back to you. And sure enough, it worked. You
yeah,
know, and they got their person, and they were, you know, DMing me how excited they were that it went through, and that they had
yeah.
actually done this bit of organizing on their own and stuff. And
The sharing of the brand was. I loved that idea. Like the fact that any one of us, if we get an idea of a charity that we're just absolutely in love with, any one of us can just be like, hey, I want to get all of Sci-Hope together to do a thing for this charity. I'll do all the work. Yes. Like that is so ridiculously inspiring to me because like I have never been in a community that is that flexible in holding each other up that way. Like ever in my life. I have never been a part of a place that's like that.
Well, and to be clear, also, like if anybody who is involved with our group or has even just been a close observer, you know, and knows what's going on, wanted to do their own thing and used what they learned from their experience associating with us, you know, I wouldn't require, you know, I don't feel bad if they don't mention us at all in executing that. Just the fact
Right.
that more good is getting done by proxy, you know,
Yeah.
then that's super awesome, you know, like
Absolutely. And it just it boggles my mind. Truly it does. We're a little off topic here, but
yeah, I know. I felt like we kind of diverged. But what else you
I
got for me? What do you got for me, Master of Ceremonies?
well, Double Zero was joining Sci-Hope or starting Sci-Hope in this case. Um, the way that you like was that your jumping off point to just stick with charity in its entirety, or was there something else to it besides the harebrained idea that turned out perfect, and then like why do you want to continue doing it?
Well, I mean, just
And no one's feelings is going to get hurt if you say it's just because of me.
well, of course, everything's for you, Gally.
See that,
No,
guys? I told you, Negatron loves me best. Please.
but no, I mean, I like seeing what we can do, and I swear that the events themselves, that when we get down to them, and this is like one of the big reasons why I always make sure I'm one of the runners, because that's my gift to myself for doing the work, and it's the most fun doing these events. And like between like it feels like, I don't know, like what the big game must feel like to sports ball people, like like all that they've been going to practice, they've been doing their thing, everything's ready for this moment and it's showtime, and I found that besides just becoming a vector for some money to go to places where it needs to be, uh the production of getting it done is just something I really really enjoy, and having execute in a way that has success, and big thanks to Commander Jupe for helping me out and being pivotal in the bailout of last year's massive technical error on the front end.
Yeah, that was fun.
We swear we tested everything and it
We
worked.
tested it twice.
Everything
didn't
was fine.
we? Everything
It
worked
worked.
when we tested it multiple times.
but then it didn't,
But no.
and within an hour we figured out a solution, and the show went on. God damn it! And like I live for that kind of shit. As stressful as it is in the moment, when you get on the back end of that, it's I like, let's get a little real here. I have issues with self-worth.
Mm.
Mood.
Yeah,
And
you know what? I wouldn't catch that at all.
I have major issues with self-worth, he said while looking directly into the camera. And and so, like, I ain't gonna lie, a good bit of this effort revolves around the fact that this is something I can do that I can't even fool myself into thinking is stupid or not worth my time or not good.
Right.
Like I can look, and it is unambiguous. You doing a good thing there, guy.
Yeah.
And it's one of the very few places that I can, with any degree of comfort, pat myself on the back for doing good at. Like I have an easier time doing that than I do with like my crafting and stuff. Even though I am very, that's probably a pretty close second. Other than that, I'm real bad at recognizing myself in doing stuff, and PSI Hope and all y'all, working along, with me, and it just kind of extrapolates to this greater kind of feeling of hope,
Yeah.
like the kindling of a bonfire in Dark Souls, or the lamp shining in the dark in Bloodborne. It's there.
Love how you brought that back.
And with a little humanity and a little insight,
Yeah.
we can make it grow and shine as bright as it needs to shine, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's actually a great segue into my next question. So are you interested in an open relationship, and can we change that for you?
No, afraid not, pal.
Okay, well,
My heart's committed to a certain somebody. Her name's SFVL on the internet.
yeah, that's a shame.
She loves
So
Mortal
serious
Kombat.
time. Serious time. Being the leader of Sci-Hope is a pretty special thing. I know I've said it several times during this, and I will probably say it again multiple times until October and beyond that. And seeing how it's beginning to grow and accomplish these incredible things in this space. I can't remember the exact number. What was it? 6,000 up to date, or is it higher now?
Oh, the current total.
Yeah.
As an organization, we've raised just a few tens of bucks shy 7K, so like 7,900 and some change.
Yeah, yeah, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Like,
And but between PSI Hope 1 and 2, Commander Jupe's fundraiser,
mhm.
the D&D fundraiser, a
Yep,
couple of
I was
raid
aware of both of
trains,
those. Yeah,
uh, and Superhero Day. So I think that's like what, 6 or 7 events in all, I believe.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And yeah, like this year, man, if only this year was like a good year. Like because like as an organization we decided we're gonna do a little bit more than just the one
Yeah.
big event or in the New Year's thing,
We
that
also had I don't remember if you mentioned it, but we had Dizzy's
yeah,
tournament as
yeah, yeah,
well.
Superhero Day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Superhero Day. I for some reason I immediately went to Holiday Heroes. That's because that's what they called theirs,
yeah.
and
Well,
I
I
know
mean,
it
it
was
was it
for
was
that,
it
but
was for them, but yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Shout out to Holiday Heroes.
Just double checking. Shout yes, loudest
Are
shout out
we
possible.
allowed to pick
What up,
favorites?
Mike? What favorite charities?
Um,
Favorite charities, are we allowed to say?
I mean, sure. Who's gonna yell
my
at us?
favorite charity is insert charity here.
Yep.
My favorite charity is the next one.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Uh, but yeah,
uh,
so yeah, it's just the amount more that we've been
yeah,
able to accomplish this year, like to where I'm pretty confident between PSI Hope 3 and whatever we have following it up before year end, we just might get up to that 10K threshold. That's my personal goal.
yeah,
Uh, and like, holy crap, gang,
yeah.
$10,000.
So my question for that, and you may answer this however you like. Um, at the end of the day, what is it about the Sci Hope charity events that you take home? And I mean, I know that when we're done, I take a certain emotion and I ride it for the next few weeks. Like, what is it about doing this that you just take home and helps you sleep at night? Like,
It's in the name.
where's the soul?
It's in the name. It's hope.
I love it.
Man,
I love it.
just it's just that easy,
Yeah.
like yeah, and you're right, and that's one of the things I was trying to express, mentioning just how much I love when the actual being present in the event as it's happening, uh because when I'm done, right on the back end, yeah, you ain't kidding, it's a couple of days of really good feeling, like
Yeah.
it's a high that lasts a lot longer than most others,
Yeah.
and and
And
uh
it's
and
and it's
and
legal.
and it doesn't
Who would
let
have
you
thought?
down when
Yeah.
it wears off. When it wears off, you feel refreshed and ready to face what's next,
Yeah.
as opposed to run down and in the ground.
All
So
right.
yeah,
All right.
hope for sure.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Well, big leader man, can I have a raise?
Sure, that's
So
easy.
appreciate it.
That's super easy.
Well, honestly, man, I appreciate you stopping off and dedicating this time to me. Um, and ultimately, I mean, that's the end of my canned questions. Jupe, did you have any questions that have been burning in the back of your head and you just haven't had a chance to say?
Actually, Mini Jeep had a question.
Oh,
Oh,
mini
Yeah,
jupe.
he wanted to know why you use Nest for the logo, which I think you
Oh,
might have
for
told us over time, but at the time I
for
wrote this
for
down, you hadn't.
in case everybody doesn't know,
Exactly.
let's make this
uh
fully official. You get the true answer right here.
He stole my
00,
extra.
take it away.
Yeah, he stole my extra sticker from PSI Hope 2 and was like, "Why? What is this boy doing on this sticker?" And I'm like, "I'll ask Negatron for you in his interview."
I I I love Earthbound.
Mhm.
It's my favorite thing in the whole world. And it's just it's from a moment in the game that's particularly unsettling, actually,
Mhm.
when it's
Mhm.
encountered. But uh um I had the like original sprite work for that the logo is based off of as like the Discord like
hmm
avatar for the longest time. And like, and I had somebody who drawn the first version of my Gygas eating the burger logo, and I decided in the run up to PSI Hope 2, I was like, I got some jingle in my jeans. Let's see if there's any artists in the community who'd be willing to redraw some of the stuff for me. And we had Kimiko Ai, who streams on the platform every so often still, I believe, who gave me very reasonable rates for these two images, and she knocked them out of the park. And just in as it became clear that the Discord is definitely primarily for fundraising, organizing, and stuff. I'm like, well, I got my burger logo for just me. Why not use this other one I commissioned to be the organization's logo? And it's presentable, it's not too weird. It's memorable.
And it's not well known enough for Nintendo to be mad.
Right, yeah. And in fact, I think it's probably distinct enough for
Yeah.
Nintendo not to be mad about it.
Right.
But,
I mean,
we'll
this
wear-
coming from a guy who figured out who Ness was because there was a small paragraph in Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Yeah, there's the little trophy blurb.
That's where I knew him from until
that explains
until
who
this.
Ness
So
is.
yeah.
And yeah,
I've
just
heard of
played
Mother,
Rework-
but I've never got a chance to play it, and I feel like that's another one of those games that just kind of missed the mark for me because I probably would have liked it when I was a kid. Now, like,
I hear
I'm
a
at that
lot of
point.
people have strong emotional responses to Earthbound. Doing their first playthrough as an adult. So I mean, who knows? But yeah,
I mean, it very well could be. I mean, look, I missed the train on a lot of like hyper popular pop culture stuff. Like I missed the train on Beetlejuice, Addams Family, like the big juggernauts in the circles that I tend to hang out with. And if you don't know, I was a rocker / goth kid growing up, and all the things that people loved about goth culture, and like Invader Zim, Nightmare Before Christmas, and all of those things that are so uniquely goth kid oriented. I didn't know any of them, and I didn't care about any of them when I was young. I was just hanging out because they looked cool in their black clothes, like
it's fair. I mean, that's fair.
So,
that was half my attraction to the goth scene in high school. Also, that's where the weed was at.
Yeah. But as it goes, like I started watching them now, and I gotta tell you, this is gonna be a bit of a hot take, but y'all need to stop smoking the nostalgia bong. Your stuff isn't that great.
There's something to be said about some of those properties you mentioned. Being looked back on perhaps maybe a little fondly, but yeah.
I mean, I still know people that will like quote the Addams Family, not just Wednesday, but the entirety of the Addams Family with what's his name, Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd and Raul Julia. Yeah. I'm
Mm-hmm.
considering a Fester cosplay.
Yeah, see, there are those, and I've watched it. Yeah, just get off the nostalgia bong. I promise you. It's
Addams Family 1 and Addams Family Values are delightful, and the original television series is too.
Wasn't down.
And I'll stand
I
by.
didn't care. Beetlejuice was boring, and the Goonies sucked. Like, I know. Hot takes all around. But
I also
honestly,
didn't like the Goonies.
The views, the dislike button.
I know. Look,
I didn't.
There's no such thing as bad press.
We'll get people hate clicking us for hating the Goonies. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, they'll never know.
Because that'll be just the thumbnail. This asshole hates the Goonies.
That's the real title for this episode.
YouTube took away the dislike button, so no one's gonna know anyway.
Oh, well, they took away the dislike count.
Yeah nobody's gonna know.
You can still press the button.
That's what I meant. No, it's not that they're bad. It's just I know I missed the train. And
I mean, that's one of those things.
They are charming they are charming. I will give it that. They are charming, and I can understand if I was a kid, I would have absolutely loved them. But as an adult, I'm just not interested, man. Like the Goonies, I don't know if it's old man geezer stuff taking over, but the entire movie is just one scream after another.
I haven't watched the Goonies in a very long time. All I remember is Sean Astin's in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of screaming. And they're all screaming over each other. I'm pretty sure they all forgot the plot halfway through and just continued.
Well, uh,
And maybe I'm just old. Not
I
old
think
fashioned, just old.
yeah, I think it's happening. Galleon has no soul. Confirmed.
Mm,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
yeah,
I'll never harsh nobody for their media consumption choices, of course.
No, and
But you know what we should do?
what's that?
We should plug PSI Hope 3.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's so within the next couple weeks. It's definitely happening. We said it earlier. We're gonna say it again. It is October 26th. Yeah.
No.
Damn. I've been working a lot. Please forgive me. Please go ahead and plug it. Plug it as hard as you can.
Join us, please, won't we? With PSI Hope 3, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice on October 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Three 12-hour marathons starting at noon Eastern each day. We're going to be raising money for the Brain Injury Association of America. And, on a personal note, I'm dedicating the event to my recently departed good friend, Victor Hernandez, who suffered a brain aneurysm that ultimately claimed his life. So that's the personal aspect of this year's fundraiser.
My condolences.
Well, thank you, and
R.I.P. King.
Yes, sir. He was my tattoo artist, so I get to think about him every single day.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
in that way, we keep his memory alive. And also, I'm going to be pretty much keeping a donation link on my channel at all times for donating to his family directly, besides the Tiltified stuff for PSI Hope 3. But looking forward to the event. Big time.
Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, October 20, 21, and 22, noon to midnight, featuring Negatron00, Commander Jupe, Sekatai, Blood Moon 453, Scarecrow, .exe, underscore exe, actually, Sage Senpai, Perry Queen Lucy, May Megan, commentary by yours truly, Sergeant Taco, and more. So
yeah, Master Ceremonies, Galleon.
Want to miss this. This is going to be an amazing time. Sekiro is a great game.
Yeah, we got multiple skill levels too. May Megan, Commander Jupe, and I believe a couple other and Scarecrow have this will be essentially their first complete playthroughs of the game.
Yeah. I can't wait to see the babies cry.
I was about to say, if you want to see me cry, join us.
No, honestly, no, you guys can actually see this on stream if you go back in my channel far enough. I did a Sekiro Shadows Die Twice run. I put that game down for 6 months straight. And I did not get the combat until much later.
Yeah.
And that game made me very, very angry, and I almost had the second TV in my life that I've destroyed. I was very close. Game is hard.
I have already cried multiple times. Keep in mind, I don't play Souls games. The first Souls-like game I ever played was Steel Rising, and it is about a quarter as difficult as Sekiro.
Sekiro is hard.
It is hard, and I have a love-hate relationship with it so far. I can guarantee you, if I didn't have the goal of at least showing up for PSI Hope 3 and Negatron and Lucy's help throughout, I would have quit by now.
Jupy, I'm just gonna level with you. That love-hate relationship thing, that is just from software in general.
It's addictive. I now understand why everyone likes it.
Yeah, you never get an equilibrium with it. You just learn to cope. That's
all I like watching new players come to it, and I really like one of the things I like so much about our main events so far each year has been that we have had newer players, our players who haven't finished the game, as part of the team every time.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of people like watching new people approach Souls games, over Twitch, and this is a unique venue where we watch somebody go from scrub to veteran in a weekend.
Yes.
And it's always amazing to see the players who didn't think they had it in them get much, much further than they expected or to even complete the games.
Yeah. I mean, the first one, we had Sekitai on his first Bloodborne play, and he came in like third?
He tied with Lucy. They actually ended up, right at the end of the event, they ended up doing co-op together to bring down not Father Gascoigne, Gurman at the end, and which was a really fun way to end the event, especially because the whole thing, we say race, but there's no real prize for us.
Yeah, I mean, it says right there in the flyer, casual race.
Yeah, I made sure casual was in there because it was very important.
It is very important.
That's a lesson I learned from promoting PSI Hope 1. I was like, I have to start throwing casual on because everybody's like, speed run? I'm like, no.
I mean, yeah, but no. Like,
we're gonna
there ain't gonna be no sequence breaks here
than most people and stuff, but yeah.
I mean, you might have somebody playing to a huge detriment and dying a lot.
But yeah, a sneak preview for the newer runners. They have far less requirements to finish the game with, right?
Ooh,
however, donors will be able to force certain challenges upon them that they wouldn't have to face otherwise for limited periods of time. Most notable, and if anybody knows about these mini bosses from their runs of Sekiro, the 7 Spears of Hashina. I think there's 3 of them available throughout the game, and at least one of them before the first ending opportunity comes.
I sense we're having similar PTSD. Yeah, PTSD flashbacks of 7 Spears.
He's so hard.
So hard.
Yeah. So
he's
fun
the
stuff
worst.
like that. It won't be like fight them until you kill them. It'll be fight them for like a given period of time, and then
try.
Or if you kill them nice and fast, well then, bravo.
Yeah, go try.
I know for a fact once my one mod Alvis finds out about that option, you will be getting many donations in my name.
Awesome. I tell you what, Commander, I'll even design a special 7 Spears Slayer badge that I can print out for if anybody actually manages to hit that challenge. Alrighty. And the Sergeant Taco show will be returning with. I'm sure he'll have all kinds of gadgets and wonders.
It speaks to the inner nerd in me. I love that man so much.
Yeah, he's an inventor, and he's working on various prototypes of accessibility minded controller interfaces for people who don't necessarily have full mobility in their hands or other required body parts.
Yeah. How is that going with Mike from Holiday Heroes, by the way? Do you know any extra information?
I don't have any details along those lines, but I'm almost positive if Sergeant Taco's got good news to spill, then he'll be more than happy.
I'm gonna blitz him during the thing. I just am. I gotta know.
I totally forgot about that. They were working on
that. I
didn't.
He mentioned that they had talked, so we'll see where that went.
I didn't.
I've been waiting on info on the clowning it up.
Yeah. Well, I think we got ourselves an episode.
Woo!
Negatron, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Gally. I appreciate you coming back. I'm relatively short notice organizing this thing and getting it done. I super appreciate you, pal.